What's going on, guys? It's Jimmy here. Welcome to our daily show where we discuss everything going on here in our country that you need to know about here on a daily basis. Texas Governor Greg Abbott has dumped more migrants right on Vice President Kamala Harris's doorstep, including a 1 month old baby has been dumped right on the doorstep of Vice President Kamala Harris, who is in charge of the border and the border security. Let me know your thoughts here on this situation. Here is a picture of what has just happened here. Again, this is a new set of busload here going on about this. Yeah, a new busload of 50 migrants, including a 1 month old child, were dropped in front of the Naval Observatory on Saturday, which is the Washington, D.C. home of Vice President Kamala Harris. The group mostly originated from Venezuela and add to the growing list of migrants that have been transported to the vice president's home. It marks the third bus of migrants sent from Texas Governor Greg Abbott after others have arrived earlier this week. Separately, 6 more buses from Texas carrying migrants reportedly arrive at New York's Port Authority on Saturday as well. Aid workers quickly took the migrants away to a local shelter. Texas Governor Greg Abbott said, quote, "We're sending migrants to her backyard to call on Biden administration to do its job and secure the border." However, U.S. Representative Ilhan Omar, a Democrat from Minnesota, called the shipments a form of, quote, "human trafficking," saying, quote, "Shipping vulnerable migrants across the country is not a campaign tactic. It is human trafficking," she tweeted Thursday. It is abuse of dozens of human beings and a celebration of that abuse for a political gain. Around 8,000 migrants have been sent from Texas to Washington since April, and adding that Arizona has also moved nearly 2,000 migrants to Washington since May. During that same time, according to the New York Post, over 11,000 migrants have been transported to New York City, with a majority coming from Texas. It's also being reported now in a new report from the Houston Chronicle directly from Texas that Texas is spending $1,700 for each migrant it buses to Democratic controlled northern cities. Wow, $1,700 for each migrant. Yikes. They could give that money to Texans. Let me know your thoughts on this. The bill for Texas to bus migrants to D.C., New York, and Chicago had run over $14.1 million by August 19th alone, according to records obtained through a public information request. Wow. That was like a month ago. Abbott has since expanded the program to send migrants to Chicago, a move the city mayor blasted last week as a, quote, "racist and xenophobic practice of expulsion." As of August 12th, the state had sent about 6,800 migrants to D.C., 360 to New York. By that point, Texas had paid Wind Transportation, the charter company it hired for the program, more than $12.7 million, records show. That amounts to more than $1,700 per passenger. Yikes. So let me know your thoughts on this. It's directly from Houston Chronicle in Texas. Do you support this? Are you against this? Do you think this is a good use of Texans' money? Yeah. I being not a Republican, not a Democrat, I totally understand the problem that Texans face with literally millions of people or millions of illegal immigrants coming across the border. I really understand that problem. It's a problem that's been going on for years, so it's really a significant problem. The question is, does spending millions of dollars to do this and really send a few thousand people and spend millions of dollars to do that, is that a good use of money? That is it's a good question. You can let me know your thoughts here in the comments. Meanwhile, we are seeing a lot of governors trying to give money back to their residents. We have 32 different states by my count, and we had an article publication that counted 31 states, and now it's at least 32 states that have sent stimulus checks, tax rebate checks, property tax rebate checks, and lowering taxes here back to their residents. And I'm trying to keep you up to date here on everything on the state level and the federal level of money going back to people and really all sorts of different programs. We also have the student loan forgiveness program that's going out to 43 million Americans. That's passed by the president. That's $10,000 to $20,000. That's a major help for anybody that has student loans. 43 million Americans, $10,000 to $20,000. That's going to completely wipe out student loans for about 20 million Americans. That could be you. That could be your brother, your sister, your relatives. I really don't know. It could be you. Also, we have coming up here in about 10 days or so, a massive meeting on food stamps and food snaps. Could be a massive raise on that as well. That'll be for over 40 million Americans. It could change the eligibility requirements as well. That could be for another 40 million Americans. Could be another major raise on that. We'll keep you up to date here on that. So between those programs, could be over 80 million Americans on the federal level between those two programs. Keep you up to date here on that. I'm going to keep you up to date here on all these different things. We also could just did a video here on the Social Security raises. There's over 60 million Americans on Social Security. So if we add in that, if that happens, there's like 3 to 5 major bills to raise Social Security in several different ways. Also for SSI, SSDI, several different bills there, up to $2,400 a year for Social Security, and also to raise the benefits to the minimum amount of $1,415 a month. Several different things there. A bill that's just for SSI as well to raise it to the 100% of the poverty level, which is, let me see, the federal poverty level is 13,590 per year, which divided by 12 would be $1,132 a month. So currently the maximum benefits on SSI is 841. So if you divide that, that would be a $291 raise per month. So that would be a huge increase for SSI. That's the SSI Restoration Act. So I just did a video on all of these Social Security raises. So there's really a lot of different things here on the federal level and the state level. Here's some things on that here. Um, Georgia Governor Brian Kemp, I just covered this in a previous video, that Georgia has $350 checks going out to Georgians who, this is going out to over 3 million people. People who qualify, $350 checks to people who qualify on the SNAP, Medicaid, and TANF programs. Those are going to be going out soon. And there's also here, after Governor Kemp, he has also proposed $250 to $500 refund checks and $500 property tax breaks. So you can see here, Brian Kemp has also proposed a $1 billion rebate plan as well, with homeowners of a $500 property tax rebate as well. So he has now proposed an additional $500 rebate for homeowners and also $250 to $500 refund checks for just people in the state. So that is something, this one is not passed yet. This is a proposal. Exact eligibility of this proposal is still undetermined. $500 for homeowners, up to $500, $250 to $500 refund checks, aka stimulus checks for people of the state. That one's not passed. The $350 ones is passed. Again, that is for people on services, Medicaid, SNAP, and TANF. Covered that in a previous video. So that is for Georgia. Also, we got some new information here on the checks for Massachusetts directly from the Boston Herald. So this new information just came out here that the state of Massachusetts is going to be getting a new check to about 3.6 million people. 3.6 million people are set to receive cash back this fall after the state government hauled in taxes last year that surpassed the legal limit by $3 billion. This is one of those states you can see here that actually has a law that says if they pass a certain amount, they have to give it back. Which you see here, Baker's team, which oversees the Department of Revenue, said the $2.94 billion that needs to be returned to taxpayers under a voter-approved laws back from like 1986 or something will take the form of mailed checks or direct deposits, likely starting in November. So really not that far away. I mean, September, October is like, 2 weeks away, so not that far. Taxpayers will, quote, automatically receive their refunds without needing to submit an application to be eligible. They must have filed a 2021 state tax return by October 17th, 2022. So keep that in mind. Again, a lot of these go by state tax returns because they have to know how much you make. They have to know if you exist, all that stuff, right? The amount of return will be scaled based on how much somebody paid in state personal income taxes in 2021, with larger checks going to those who pay larger shares of the state haul. Baker's budget office estimates the refund will total about 13% of how much a taxpayer owed to Massachusetts in personal income tax last year. So this is a really weird one. This is not like a normal one. This is kind of a strange one. With families facing continued pressure from high prices and inflation, these returns will provide some needed relief. Base staters can use an online calculator launched to get a projection of what to expect on the mass.gov website. Massachusetts has a flat income tax of 5%, so an individual who earned $50,000 in taxable income last year, which is around the average income nowadays for a working individual, and had a tax liability of $2,500, which is kind of not that much. I don't know, doesn't sound like that much. Would be in line for a rebate check of $325. And a person who earned 1 million, which is really not that many people, could be in line for $6,500. That's because they probably paid a lot, a lot of taxes. Yeah, that's well if they owed $50,000 in Massachusetts state taxes. Yeah, well, God bless them if they paid that much in state taxes. Wow, that's just state taxes too alone. So. And who knows how much they paid in federal taxes as well, right? Rebates might be reduced due to refund intercepts for unpaid taxes, unpaid child support, or other debts, officials said. So really, if we look here, 2 more states adding to, Georgia's got one passed and maybe another one on the way. Massachusetts now has another one on the way. Massachusetts is now officially another state here that is adding to the pot here. So really, if you remember that every single state is doing this completely different. I don't know. Massachusetts is just kind of a complicated one. I like the states that just do it better with a flat dollar amount. You look at states like Maine, that did the, you can see here, the state of Maine did the $850 relief checks per person. So that married couples got a total of $1,700 to almost a million people. That was a lot. And again, it was just a flat amount. Really, really good. That went out here, I don't know, like a month or two ago. The state of California, inflation relief payments, how to receive $1,050 stimulus checks from October in California. These are going to start going out in October, which is really, about 2 weeks away here at this point. So yeah, those are going to start. Those are passed. Those are officially passed. Those are set in stone. Those are going to start going out here in October. I'll keep you up to date here on the details of those. Those are going to be going out to over 23 million Americans. We know that California had stimulus checks last year as well, and they're going to be stimulus checks here this year as well. And honestly, California has enough money to do stimulus checks next year. So it's probably a very, very good possibility, maybe almost a certainty, that California will have stimulus checks next year. California has a law, I believe, that if they have a certain amount of money, that again, just like Massachusetts, that they have to give money. They have to give money back to their taxpayers. So California has like $100 billion surplus. Yeah, you can see here, California's legislature approved this week. The surplus alone reached a record high $97 billion after it paid for all of its bills and everything. And remember, this was a dramatic turnaround because it wasn't not that long ago, but I don't know, 5, 7, 10 years ago or something like that, that California was completely a 180. They were in debt and in the hole and in a financial struggle. So if you can let me know your thoughts on why that is, or who's to praise or whatever. For again, I could care less. You could let me know your thoughts on that. But so now they're giving back to the people in multiple different ways. I mean, they're doing really a lot of things. They're building $100 million insulin facility to produce insulin for cheaper. They're building housing, low cost housing, housing for home. They're doing all sorts of things here. So when states have surplus money, and California's not the only state. I mean, we're seeing, every single state has surplus money. Every single state. So when states have extra money, they can do things. So it's a whole lot better than seeing states in debt. When states are in debt, they have to cut costs and they can't provide money to help people in hardly any ways. When states have extra money, they can provide extra money, tax rebates, property tax rebates, extra money for SNAP program, extra money for taxpayers, property tax, stimulus checks, snap out of anything, right? When there's extra money, it's if you need a $50 billion to pay your bills and you have 100 billion in the case of California, I mean, just throwing out numbers there, it's a good thing. If you need 50 billion to pay your bills and you only have 40 billion, and then you have to, take out debt and you have to issue bonds, that's not a good thing. And again, each state is completely different. It's based on your population size. If you only have a million residents, it's completely different, right? Um, but right now, every single state has a surplus because right now unemployment's really, really low. A lot of people have gone back to work. Of course, inflation is really, really high. So we're just in a completely different economy than we were several years ago. But right now, the government, the federal government, and every single state government is bringing in a lot of tax dollars because a lot of people have gone back to work. So tax dollars are really, really high, so state governments and federal governments have a lot of money to work with. So I'll keep you up to date here on all this stuff here on a daily basis. Make sure to subscribe down below to our YouTube channel and click the bell icon. It's completely free to do so. Just click the subscribe button. This way you won't miss out on our new videos that come out here every day at 10 a.m., 3 p.m., and 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'll keep you up to date here. You can click this video here to see another video about more checks going out to millions of people. And you can click this video here to see my video about Social Security raises of up to $2,400. So click on one of those videos next. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next video.